Morning, everyone. I'd like to call this council meeting to order. Is there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none, review of items not listed on the agenda.
Your Worship, there was an addendum that went out on Friday that included a report and a bylaw.
Right, thank you. Okay, announcements. Where did we start? Pat's turn, okay. Councillor Malloy,
Thank you. Good
welcome
morning.
back from the sunny south.
I'm going to be very quick. It was 85 degrees in Florida. It was a lot nicer than it is here right now, I have to tell you. It was a little bit of a shock, but back at it.
I wasn't in Florida, so at least not this week. Just a reminder, there is a BIA meeting tomorrow evening here at 6:30. Hopefully, most of you can attend. Thank you.
Is that isn't a general meeting?
No, it's just a regular meeting. Yeah. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I still have the cute voice. This past Friday night, the Goodwood United Church had their Valentine lasagna dinner. It was quite amazing, and as usual, they were sold out probably a week ahead. So that's really good to hear, and it was really good to see a lot of the people that came out. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of things. First off, congratulations to Councillor Malloy on his 40th wedding anniversary yesterday. That's very nice.
I forgot to announce that.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say. It's okay. I'll call Bev and say it got mentioned anyways.
Well, excuse me. I'll offer Bev condolences.
There is a pancake supper tomorrow night at St. Paul's for Shrove Tuesday, because Lent begins on Wednesday. And as well, February 24th is Wing and Pizza Night for Big Brothers Big Sisters of North Durham at the Scugog Rec Center.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good morning to everyone. A few things. The pond is going great. It was so busy this weekend, and I can't say enough about Parks and Recreation, especially young Tim Morrison going down there cleaning the ice off. At one time on Saturday, there was over 70 kids out there. It's beautiful. And you know, spring's in the air, because tomorrow we're having our, I don't know how many meetings it is now over the years, Huck Finn meeting. Huck Finn Day for the youth of Uxbridge is on, it's on April the 28th, which is a Saturday. So we'll be gearing up for that. And the Region of Durham won a very prestigious award. It was the Federal Canadian Municipalities Award of Excellence. This year they had a new award to do with climate change. And who emerged as the grand champion? Durham Region. Gary Kubik, the CEO, along with Brian, went down to Ottawa on Wednesday and received the award, and it was for the adaptation program that Durham Region has come up with. So I got the chance Friday at the Round Table of Climate Change to see this award, and everybody was just beaming. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I've got a few. The first one is on March 8th. Carly Jensen and my wife Sonia are putting on a seniors health summit, and it's at Showbrook, and it's both of them just found that some patients sometimes need advice maybe before they go to the emergency department, or just different ideas on health. So they've got a nurse practitioner and a pharmacist all coming together, and they're just putting on an hour and a half talk. Okay, that one. And then on March the 1st, in Council Chambers, there's an accessibility and business meeting where someone from the Rick Hansen Foundation are coming to speak to us. And then on January the 20th at 7 p.m., there's February 20th. February 20th. Thanks. There's a meeting to discuss the four-way stop. So Mayor Quirk has organized a meeting to discuss the four-way stop in Eudora. And I've contacted some people at the region. We're going to talk about our part of this as well.
sorry, I think it's really important that we have people there from the rural communities and, also from council to support that. So, what time is it?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. on February the 20th?
Yeah, which is Tuesday, I believe.
Okay. And the Eudora Hall?
At the Eudora Hall.
Thank you.
No problem.
On Friday, the clerk and the CAO and myself attended the climate change event that took place over in Port Perry. We did hear about Brian Kelly was there, as well as a lot of the DAC community members and the DEAC community members, and climate change personnel. And yes, it was wonderful to hear that Brian Kelly and the group were recognized across Canada for their motivation and their intuition and whatever in receiving this award. Also, I believe it's Saturday night, the 17th, is the coldest night, and that's to raise money. It's at the arena. 24th? Is that the 24th? For Northhudson? Okay, sorry. You're right, 24th. Okay, so just remember that, and that's something that we need to support. Okay, delegations. Our first delegation is by Mark Murphy, who is the Senior Director of Capital and Planning for Lake Ridge Health. And we welcome you, Mark, for coming and making this presentation to us. We've seen a lot of the patients that normally would be going to Oshawa or to Port Perry since the tragedy in Port Perry. And it's great to see that small community hospitals can still work together.
Just a point of clarification, my name is actually Jeff Brown.
Oh, well.
I'm just subbing for Mark, who is not able to be here this morning.
Okay, and sorry, it's Jeff?
Jeff Brown. And I'm the Director of Capital Planning and Development. Mark is the Senior Director of Capital Planning and Development.
Okay. Well, welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for allowing us, Lake Ridge Health, to just share with you what we're doing as part of the master planning process. This is community engagement. It is not moving. I can do it on there if you'd like. There we go. Thank you so much. So just a little bit about Lake Ridge Health. Lake Ridge Health is a 5-hospital health system with acute hospital sites in Ajax, Bowmanville, Oshawa, Port Perry, and a specialized rehab complex continuing care site in Whitby. It is the provider of regional services for cancer care, mental health, eye care, shoulder orthopedics, and nephrology services. And the emergency departments of Lake Ridge Health have one of the highest emergency volumes in Ontario. And there is a team of about 5,000 staff, 780 physicians, where Lake Ridge provides safe, quality care to residents from across Durham. So we're engaging or entering into a master planning process. And this master planning process will guide planning for future program, service, and physical infrastructure to meet the future acute care needs of the population of Durham over the next 5, 10, and 20-plus years. The master plan is evidence-based and factors expected demographic-based forecast to determine future state demand needs. It includes evaluating the capabilities of our existing buildings, defining the long-term development strategies, and developments to support the future delivery of acute care services. Key input into the process is broad-based stakeholder and community consultation. And our master plan is due in the spring of 2019 to the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, and that's 2019, not the 19th. The spring of 2019. So, key principles. Lakeridge Health will be engaging with a broad range of both internal program experts, partner stakeholders, and members of the broader community to hear their views. Data and demographics is a material driver of demand forecasting for health services. As such, we are undertaking a comprehensive analysis of demographic forecasts and health utilization that will be supplemented and enhanced by qualitative views of our stakeholders to inform our planning. Our approach to planning will be consistent with the Patients First Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care policy and will always consider patient needs and the needs of the community for acute services. We fully intend to leverage the investments we have made in our existing hospital sites and will consider ways to optimize their functionality as part of our master planning. We believe that having centers of excellence is a sound operational model that focuses expertise and resourcing to serve the needs of residents throughout the region, and this must be continued. Our community partners and how we support the Central East planning activities are essential to our master plan across the region. We are part of a larger health system, and planning for our future role must recognize this system as a whole. Now, our community engagement approach. The consultation process will include many different stakeholders having a direct interest in how services are provided at Lakeridge Health. This includes a cross-section of Durham Region residents, patients and caregivers, internal user groups, as well as external health providers. Consultation activities have begun and will continue through March of this year. We will be providing feedback to the community on what we heard and how the views and themes will be reflected in our master plan as it evolves. We are actively working with various communities to ensure that specific ethno-cultural and socially marginalized stakeholders are contacted and appropriate forums are accessed to ensure opportunities for input. To reach the broader community, we have launched a public survey which is available through our website at www.lakeridgehealth.on.ca. And we are planning 2 town halls in the February-March timeframe. In addition to a web-based survey that is accessible on our website that is open to all Durham residents, Lakeridge Health will be setting up 2 teletown halls where we will be contacting 20,000 plus people and requesting their participation in providing their views. We are also planning local focus groups in 5 areas of the Durham region: Pickering-Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Clarington, and North Durham, where we will invite the business community, advocacy groups, and in a facilitated focus group session in order to gather additional community-based input. We are planning for these sessions to occur in late February, early March. We recognize it is important to reach out to obtain specific input from a number of specific stakeholders whom either interact with Lakeridge Health frequently or can provide perspectives for residents who are often not engaged with us. We will be conducting a number of specific focus group sessions or interviews with these groups, such as nursing home providers and community sport providers. Lastly, we currently plan to invite a 20 to 30 person group to participate in a half-day in-depth dialogue to explore more deeply the themes and input we received during the latter stages of our consultation process. The resident dialogue session will occur in late March as our consultation process winds down. And just wanted to give you a sample of the types of questions that are asked to these engagement groups that are providing us with some input. And of course, depending on the type of engagement groups, the questions are tailored to their needs. And lastly, if there are questions, Mark Murphy is certainly available, but thank you for the opportunity of speaking.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Is there questions from any of the councillors? Councillor Barton?
Yeah, thank you very much for coming in. Just a quick question. When do you expect to open Port Perry Hospital?
Well, right now, it's probably in the range of early September.
Okay.
That's our current forecasting of the schedule. We really do want to open at that time, but, you know, until the general contractor has finished all its work, you can never be 100% certain. But yes, we are definitely working towards that date.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Councillor Ballinger?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to the presenter. Have you selected where you're holding these town hall meetings?
They're in a range of locations, and if you'd like to know exactly where they are, they're being organized currently. So I don't know exactly where they are, but I know that there's various community halls in various communities and so on and so forth. We can provide that information to you.
Thank you.
Just one question, and maybe you can't answer it, but what all is being done in the medical center across the road from the hospital? Because I understand they've set up a mini hospital over there?
You mean at Port Perry?
Right.
Well, there's certainly an urgent care center that is more, active than it previously was. But many of the functions that were previously provided at Port Perry have been transferred to either Bowmanville or Oshawa. And in fact, at the Oshawa site, there is a whole unit that we have previously used for surge activities that is set up so that the inpatient unit that was previously at Port Perry is now operating out of a single location at Oshawa.
Okay, because I know that we're receiving a lot of your emergency patients.
Yes.
As I said, I think it's great that, you know, we're able to do that. So, no, I was just interested in knowing what all was going on over there. So if there's no further questions, thanks again, Jeff, for coming up and giving us this update. And we look forward to receiving a memo of some sorts informing us when the public meetings will take place and where.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jamie Broughton, Oxford Cycling Club. You're getting to be a regular here.
I know.
Don't sound, I was going to say, don't sound so enthused. Yeah, no for me. Oh, who's going to?
And my enthusiasm was tempered only by my really ridiculous voice that I have today, so my apologies for the cold. I'm just looking at this. Give me a sec here. Presentation set up. All right, there we go. It's working. Over. There we go. It is actually working. It just takes a moment. I've got my own. I wasn't sure what you'd have. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the time and giving us an opportunity to come in. The intention of this conversation is just to really request permission to use Elgin Park for the second annual UX-Cycle event. It's going to be happening on September the 23rd. We had sent a letter in back in December, not of 2019, by the way, but of 2017, as listed here. And I gather there were some questions about our application to be able to use Elgin Park for UX-Cycle on September 23rd. So I thought I would just begin by taking a quick moment and sharing a little bit with you about how UX-Cycle 2017 went, and just show you a brief little video. Has anyone seen the video of UX-Cycle? I know one or two of you may have, but that's it. So I'll just give you a chance just to sort of take a look at what happened with this. It's just a short video, 3 minutes, and then I'll get into what the status of it is and what the requests are for Elgin Park. The moment, of course, we all hold our breath.
that Ontario is as safe to bike in as other parts of the world, especially Europe.
I live in Whitby, but I ride up to Uxbridge on a regular basis. I'll often ride up, have a cup of coffee at Nexus Coffee and ride home.
The scenery here is exceptional, and I think it's just a wonderful place for people to get outside. It hasn't been seen what's beyond the urban area of our municipality. There's no need to be afraid. Open up, this is the race. I wanna get it through to you. You're not alone. I wanna get it through to you. You're not alone. I'm gonna get it through to you. You're
We're looking to actually take this event to a whole other level. We had almost 300 people at this event and kind of surprised ourselves. We thought we'd have 100, 150. And this year we want to move it to Elgin Park. Conversations with a number of people like Second Wedge and a number of other sponsors that are really interested in participating in this again and really helping showcase Uxbridge like we have been doing, both for the region and the area, but also for cycling and all the benefits that cycling provides for active living. So just really quickly, a little bit of event about the update about the event. So funding, this was funded by Ontario 150, so we got a $5,000 grant to launch that. And so this year the funding model is obviously going to be different. We couldn't charge for the event at the time for obvious reasons. And now we've already launched a website, but haven't announced it because we haven't secured the date with you yet around how we're going to do this. So we've applied for a number of grants, which some of you have been great sort of letting us know that these grants are available. We're going to find out in March about funding for that. We're going to be charging the participants. So right now we're in conversations about what that looks like, but it's all as a non-profit venture to be able to, again, make as many people to be able to participate as possible. And we'll also have sponsorship as well, too. So we're creating sponsorship opportunities. In fact, this is on our website. If you go to upcycle.ca, you'll see just, again, we haven't formally announced it, but it's there. So funding opportunities, sponsorship opportunities for different, we have a carbon and aluminum and steel opportunities as in the types of bikes that are out there. So this is sort of, we've already begun conversations around sponsorship to be able to help, again, promote manufacturers and also local organizations that want to sponsor. All organizations in Uxbridge, so the whole BIA is welcome to attend like we had last time, and there's no fee for attending. If you want to sponsor and get some of the additional benefits of logos and exposure, there's a $400 open to any Uxbridge BIA organization that wants to participate in the showcase of the event itself. Other stuff, so that's funding. Also vendors, I just mentioned, everyone's welcome. We have insurance, this whole piece, just like we did last year. So we have full insurance, and Uxbridge Township is going to be named as one of the other insured parties, so there's no exposure there for the organization. We will be serving alcohol, so the Second Wedge will be having a beer garden there as well, too, and they've committed to sort of taking care of the licensing for that because they do this regularly, obviously given the nature of their business, but there will be alcohol served at the event by Second Wedge. And we're requesting that this is deemed sort of as a municipally significant event, so we're able to do that from you. So that's one of our requests that we have. Also, so if the request, so this is on your letter, this was sent to you, or sent to Debbie and Karen in December of last year. And so this is just basically the request. So this is what's on your sheet basically, except there's a small change to it at the bottom. So we're looking for exclusive use of the event on September 23rd for that day. Exclusive event, by the way, so that doesn't preclude anyone else from using Elgin Park. It's the only event that's going on that particular day. We request parking on the 7th Consecton Street entrance. It's closed for our sort of vendors. The event will use the southeast parking lot closest to the park with parking access off of Elgin Park Road. So a place obviously for participants to be able to park their vehicles. We'd like to use the covered area for our registration area in case there's rain that day. We also want to be able to use the band shell rather. We're looking at getting some bands in to participate and really create a real festival atmosphere is what we're looking to do, a whole sort of cycling festival atmosphere. What's also new of this year as well is that we're also bringing in the mountain biking side of things as well too. So the DMBA jumped all over this as an opportunity to help promote mountain biking and that connection between the Durham Forest. Durham Forest and the center. So we're actually going to be mountain biking routes from here up to Durham Forest and back. So we want to promote that linkage as much as possible. Both washroom locations to be open depending on needs. So we want that central set of washrooms open and perhaps the ones in the other building depending on what the need is, and we'll figure that out a little closer at the time. We'll need to close have 60 minutes where we're going to require exclusive use of the pathway in and out just for our start, right, for when we're going to be starting the event. We'll be in the also, I mentioned the beer garden, Second Wedge, so that'll be from 11 to 3 p.m. We'll require power for the vendors, which, presumably you guys are doing on a regular basis, and now you have power in there, so we're going to be needing that. And then we'd also like to be able to use the Parks and Recs tables. We did the same thing as well last year, the ones that are in the arena, for our vendors to be able to come in, and I don't know what kind of arrangement you have for things like, the fall fair and things like that, what people do with their tables. But we'd love to be able to use those tables and chairs and perhaps have them delivered to us as well too. We'd like the park made available free of charge for the event, and we understand that there are staff costs potentially with sort of staffing and helping manage it the day of, so we will be covering those costs as well too, and we'd like to have a conversation about what those costs might be for the day so we can budget it that. And that's everything.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie. I'm not sure what this use of Parks and Recs tables. I don't think we have Parks and Recs tables. Okay. We have tables that are there in the, I think they're stored in the Red Barn building.
Do you have two sets of tables? One's at the arena and one's at the barn building. Are there two sets? We used the ones in the arena last time because we were at Second Wedge, so whatever tables there are, I don't know if they're Parks and Rec or they're yours or...
Well, the ones they're big round tables at the arena.
They also have long rectangular ones there as well too.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones we used last year. So we just want to be able. It doesn't matter which ones they are, and I don't know who owns them per se.
Okay.
Yep.
Questions, Councillor Hyatt?
Thanks, Jamie.
Yep.
Pleasure to see you. Just a couple of questions. I think when you were in here the last time, I asked if UCC was a not-for-profit.
Yep.
They are, right?
Yep.
Are you registered with the
we're registered as a not-for-profit. So.
Okay.
Yep.
And you mentioned when you're charging the entrance fee, which you didn't do last year, which was a great event, by the way. I attended it. So are they going into advertising, promotion? How are...
This is a whole mix of things, yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be advertising. We're going to be using some contractors to help us organize it because we're looking to have it be almost double the size.
Okay.
So Sean Ruppel is going to be giving us a hand with that, and there's all kinds of things like washrooms and advertising and
Sure, okay.
printing
So
and
it's
all
just
that
going
good stuff.
back into the event, basically, right?
Yeah, it's all going back
In one
into the
form
event.
or another, okay.
Yeah, and anything extra that sort of, there's also a charity, so CAMS Kids is going to be a part of it as well too. So we're going to be
Okay.
helping raise money for CAMS Kids. The proceeds don't go to CAMS Kids, but we're creating a venue for us to raise money for CAMS Kids. And
Okay.
if there are any because you know what these things are like, you never know if you're going to make a little bit or lose a little bit. But the proceeds, any proceeds, we're going to be sort of putting into we have a little fund that we're creating for infrastructure or anything around the township for cycling-related
For
matters.
cycling, okay. And, how many members do you have right now in the
We've
club?
got somewhere it's in the mid-60s.
And they all from Uxbridge, or are they from? other
Basically, I mean, there's some from around the area, but
They're
there's
all
a couple from
local,
Stouffville.
we'll call it, yeah.
What's that? Yeah, they're all local. I mean, no one's going to drive too far to come and ride here necessarily on a regular basis, but yeah.
Good. And I would suggest you've already booked the date, or you know the date's available, correct?
Yes, we had that conversation back in, I think it was November.
With Karen.
With
Karen
Karen, and
Lockhart.
they've held the date, and we just need to get formal approval for the date itself. Yep.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Good questions.
Councillor Bryan.
Thank you for this, Jamie. Couple of quick questions. One, when you said the beer garden is hosted in part by the Second Wedge, what do you mean by in part? Help me understand that.
So I don't know if there's, I think the Second Wedge is going to be, I don't know if we're hosting it, how that works.
But they're the only brewery, right?
They're the only brewery,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Another question. So you talk about moving risers, seating risers and things. Our staff is going to do that, or are you guys going to do that?
Well, we think, we assume staff would do that. We wouldn't have the equipment to do that, so that's part of the cost.
Then you would be paying for that as well, for the
Yeah,
staff
so
time
that's
to
what
move
we
them,
want
set it
to
back.
find out, what would that cost? Yeah, it's a great question.
I would, again, same with the chairs and tables. I would suggest that you meet with someone on staff to get a cost for that, so they'll
Okay.
know. And how long it would take is honestly, I don't know how long it takes to
Yep.
move risers.
Yep.
So maybe talk to Bobby or something, but thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
Councillor Ballinger.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thanks for the presentation. Just, do you have a backup date? Always when you have these outdoor activities, what happens if it pours rain? They're not going to be cycling. I mean, it's an outdoor venue, so do you have a backup date?
We don't have a backup date right now. To be honest, I don't know how that will work with a backup date. If we scheduled one the following week, is a potential piece, the following Sunday. We haven't, oftentimes these things, people come and can they go to the next one or not? So that's a great question.
Well, the reason I'm asking you, I would suggest that when you do the final booking, that you do have a backup
Yep,
date
that's fair.
tentatively. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. That's really great.
What was the $400 for?
The $400?
I thought you said $400. Is that what you were charging vendors?
Oh, that's for the sponsorship package.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's 4 different sponsorship packages, depending on what level of participation that they want to have from an exposure standpoint. I had it on this slide here. It's not in your handout. This is on the website. So for people who want, so there's no charge for any vendors that want to come and participate in the area. They can set up their staff, and that's all. There's no charge for any of that. But if they want a logo on on the T-shirt, so last year everyone that came got their logo on the T-shirt. So this year, to get that kind of exposure, whether it's logos on T-shirts or on the website, those kind of pieces, they'll need to pay a little bit more for them. Yep.
Okay. Councillor Burton, you had a question? No question? Okay. So, do you want to deal with this now? Or under other business? Okay. So, you have the list of requests in front of you. How does council want to deal with this? Councillor Ballinger and Councillor Bryan.
Well, I think the first thing should happen, they need a letter stating that this is a significant event from council. So I would put a motion forward that we do that.
Okay. Do you want to do the whole thing? Pardon me? Oh, yeah, the event needs to be approved first.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve of the event.
Approve Upcycle,
Yes.
okay. On September the 23rd from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else that needs to be put in that? We put it all in? Okay. That's what, everybody, let's try and get this in one one motion? Okay, so everybody's agreeing to the event? Okay, so we've got that in, and that you're agreeing to,
Use of the park.
the, items that are listed, they're requesting? Okay, Councillor Malloy?
I just have one question. I just think we need to clarify what the township staff's gonna do and what they're gonna do. So at some point in time, someone's gonna have to get together. I don't know if we can do all the things that Jamie's asking for or not, so.
Perhaps the easiest way to deal with it is whatever our Parks and Rec staff have to deal with, that's what we will bill them for. Like we do with any other group that uses the park for free, we bill them for all of the time. So if you want tables delivered, if you want to pick them up yourself, we won't bill you.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I just wanna
Yeah,
clarify,
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
Everybody
no, it's a
else-
great question.
That's probably the
Yep.
easiest way, then we don't
Yep.
get caught on the details.
Yep, that's fine.
There's no way of charging for hydro?
We don't have a way to deal with hydro.
Okay. Anything else that needs to be, Madam Clerk, needs to be put in that motion? I don't think so. Okay, so we're a letter? Yeah, we've got that. And they have insurance, so a copy of their insurance needs to come here. It's been suggested that they book an alternate date,
Yep.
in case of, weather. That we agree with the items, that they're requesting in their letter of December the 9th. I think it meant 2017. And that, they be charged for any staff time. Have I covered everything? Okay, so that's your motion, Jack.
Well done.
And that's seconded by Councillor Bryan. All those in favor? Carried.
Worship?
Yes.
Just one suggestion, I'd make this to Jamie. You may want to speak with the Fair Board.
To who?
For the Fair Board, for tables.
Right, okay.
Instead of hauling them all from the arena, I know the Legion had a lot of wooden tables, they're these 6-foot ones.
Yep.
And they donated them to the Fair Board, and they're all in the Red Barn. It would
Okay.
save hauling them from the arena
Yep.
up there and
Perfect.
hauling them back.
Great.
So, I'll just give you
Excellent.
that tip.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The person you should contact with the Fair Board is Dave Dickey.
Dave
Dickey,
Dickey. Perfect, thank you.
okay?
Excellent.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Appreciate it.
Jamie. Hope you feel better. Pat Higgins, Amanda Ferrer.
I think, the theme of the voices is, ongoing, yes, we'd like to give you an update today on Jumpstart. What happened in 2017, we had another great year, and, have some great plans for 2018 as well. We'd like to start off, though, with a little video from, our Jumpstart games last year. I'm not sure if any of you have seen this or not, but it's a great, exciting way to start our presentation, so.
Is that clear to you? I think I need my eyes done. I think I need my eyes done, is that?
Yep, that's right. So we had another great day, and it was great to be able to use all the different facilities, the arena and the ballpark and the tennis courts. And as you can see, the kids had a wonderful day that day, and I'm sure that Rebecca will tell you a bit more about what we have in store for this year on that. So we had a great year this year again. It was a record year, actually. Great news story. So many things happened, and thanks to Amanda, Rebecca, and Tracy and the teams, we were able to make this happen. And got to hit the right button here. There we go. So 2017, we funded over $64,000, and over 1,283 kids and families got to participate in something. I think I'll turn it over to Rebecca to save my voice here, and she's the one that makes all this happen, and she's much more enthusiastic about all this as well. She'll pump you up, so it's all yours, kiddo.
Thanks for having us here today. So we had a great 2017 year. We had a lot of fun, new changes. The community really came together, and we feel pretty proud about it. How do we go to the next one here? Oh, perfect. So on a per capita basis, we continue to be one of the most active chapters in the country, Uxbridge is. Our partnership with the township is essential, working together on all the programs available to kids. Most sports organizations, schools, churches, and many more are now directing families in each Jumpstart for assistance. So creating that relationship is very important. So when kids register for hockey, they can usually go on the website for the Hockey Association, or they can be redirected to us. So our communication is very tight. So where does all the money come from? So from Uxbridge Canadian Tire and Community Initiatives, there's $20,000. Our huge proceeds from our charity golf tournament, we have $50,000. And local donations from many organizations and sources such as Bonner Boys, Rotary Club, Experience, Mud Newton, Lions Club, Holland Music, and just to name a few. So the key thing that we try to promote the most within our town is that 100% of the proceeds stay right here in Uxbridge, and that's something to keep note of. So just to highlight our budget overview, one of Jumpstart's goals is to try to have 50% male, I'm new at this clicker thing. Half and half with male and female gender participation. So you can see that we actually hit that goal for last year, that it was split in half. And we are proud of that as well. So you can take a look at our overview. The $49.95 cost per child, that is a very low cost. So within our Uxbridge organization, we're able to utilize all resources and to provide programs with a high number of participants to keep that cost down per child. So they are pretty proud of us at head office for being able to keep that down. You've probably seen this list before, and it's within the community guide, and we do a lot of advertising with our after-school Jumpstart Rec program. I try my best to add a few every year. Sometimes they take a session to catch on, just to please the needs of the community. So one thing that I did last year is I asked Uxbridge parents, what is it that you would like in our community that we can provide after school for a $25 fee? And a few of the programs that they had come up with were some sort of simple biking program, which is our Bike and Play, a ping pong program. So as you know, we have, through the Healthy Kids Community Challenge, ping pong tables at Elgin Park. And then I thought, well, why don't we highlight the trails as well and get kids comfortable with the trails at a young age, starting at age 6, to familiarize themselves so they can get parents out there as well. So we have a junior and a senior hikers program. So I was trying to also highlight Elgin Park as one of our really active stations and hubs within the community as well in the spring once the snow is gone. And of course our floor hockey and our dodgeball are always the most popular. Our youth leadership training, we had a successful year with this. We ended up hiring 3 of the kids through our after-school leadership rec training program. So we offer a very popular program in the summer with the camps, with the counselor in training, and the leadership course. And this is a bridge for kids to come after school for only $40, get our municipal rec training, and then hopefully become a volunteer and a staff member at our Jumpstart Rec program. So it was successful this year, and you can't beat $40 for training and hopefully a job at the end of it. Our Jumpstart Games Day, which was a video that you just watched, it was fantastic to be a part of, a lot of organizing. Here's a few pictures of the team and the kids, and you probably noticed in the video they were laughing that it was raining. Nothing stopped us that day. We had the arena, which was the best venue to have. So even though it was raining a little bit, the kids still participated. Our camp staff were, right on it, and they were making sure everybody was happy and having a really good time. So we had over 250. Here we're anticipating that number and probably a little bit more. We're doing a little bit more advertising earlier in the year. We're going to make it a bit more organized with regards to the registration process. And we offer a free lunch. They get a shirt, they get a hat, they get a water bottle. They had a lunch bag last year as well. And some of the highlighted activities that we did were the wheelchair basketball. There was tennis, there was seated volleyball, noodle hockey, et cetera, et cetera. We were trying to integrate the sports and do activities that were accessible that hopefully we can continue to do in our after-school rec programs, and it looks like we are leading down that direction. Hopefully you'll see wheelchair basketball happening in Uxbridge at a soon date. Has anyone heard of our yoga programs that we're doing at the high schools right now? It's pretty amazing. We have over 340 kids per semester doing the yoga program, so grades 9 to 12, sponsors to the Jumpstart program. We have a professional instructor who comes in and teaches them in their gym classes, so they get the training a couple times a week. And then we offer a lunchtime program as well. So those kids that want to come at lunch with a focus on mental health and wellness and mindfulness, to take those practices into daily struggles in life, such as exams and relationships and things that teens do go through. And it's been very successful, and we were approved to do it again this year. Another program that I offered, I thought, well, why don't we target the public schools, because we've done high schools as well. So we have Joseph Gould Public School and Uxbridge Public School currently on our roster, and they on Thursdays get an hour of yoga as well during their lunchtime. And I think we have 70 kids doing that, all free of cost to them. And then I've just reached out to Quaker Village Public School in St. Joe's for September, so hopefully they'll get on board. I'm hoping to hit all of the Uxbridge schools this year. The important thing about that is that the principals and their parent committee have really reached out and said, we're struggling with mental health right now. What is something that we can do together? And we feel that this partnership will have a great effect on the community. So Elgin Park is a very busy hub of activity, thanks to Canadian Tire. You have seen all of these beautiful fitness stations. Has anybody been there in 2017 when there's baseball going on? These stations are in use. There's the urban pole walking, frisbee. So it's such an old and beautiful park, and it's so great to see that it is being used as much as possible. So these are a few of the stations, and we're highlighting a few of the kids there. These little wee ones in the corner, pretty cute. And those are our ping pong tables that we were doing one of our programs with. And then we continue our Take Time programs with Jumpstart, so doing free activities for families on the weekends and after school. And then our celebrity golf tournament that we do at Wooden Sticks each year. We're hoping to do that again. Last year we raised $50,000, and since its inception 8 years ago, we've raised $280,000 for Uxbridge Jumpstart. So what's in store for 2018? So an important thing to keep note of in your daytimer is that we already last year selected our date for our free Jumpstart Games Day. So July the 20th, we've been in contact with Karen and Bob at the arena. We worked together to pick that date that our camp center, Jumpstart Rec Day, will be taking over the arena and all the facilities up there. So we're hoping to grow and support all the programs that have been established. So whether it's individual or group. We want to continue our partnership with the schools in Uxbridge, and we worked hand in hand with the Durham Board of Education to ensure that these programs are very transparent and they're successful, and they are on board with us with doing these as well. And we're hoping to help with the adaptive phys ed program over at the high school and maybe get them some equipment through Jumpstart as well. Continue the partnership with the Healthy Kids program, which will be ending at the end of September, and keep working our community for financial assistance, and then continue support from the Mayor Council and staff. So since 2005, we've contributed $365,000, assisting over 4,500 kids in Uxbridge. And I'm going to pass this along to Pat.
Thank you. So as you can see, these ladies and their teams have been pretty busy. Like it was an outstanding year. We're touching so many corners of the community now. To be in the schools, I mean, now with the primary schools as well is commendable, and we're getting right to the heart of the kids that need help, and which is pretty cool, and we should all feel good about that. And thanks to you as well for partnering with us. We're able to make all that happen. So I think the other thing I'd just like to mention, we're going to try and put a couple new pieces of exercise equipment in Elgin Park this year as well. We've talked to Bob, and we're looking at putting probably 2 more pieces of equipment in as well. So some dates just to mark down. Councillor Ballinger mentioned Huck Finn Day, and I have to get the marketing side of me in and put Ladies' Night in here. But actually, Ladies' Night does contribute in a way financially to Jumpstart, so it's important to have that there. Our Jumpstart games at the arena on July 20th, and our golf tournament is tentatively scheduled for August 1st this year with Gary and his colleagues. So it's been a great year for Jumpstart, a record year, and again, thanks to Amanda, Rebecca, and their teams for making it happen. I stand back and watch, and they do tremendous work, and they're coming up with such creative programs now, and the yoga program is really taking off. I think we purchased 140 yoga mats and put those in the high school, and now we use those with the other schools as well. So again, just a great year, and we want to keep it going, and certainly the golf tournament, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have a lot of the funding that we do. So thanks to Gary for working with us on that, and we see that continuing into the future at this point. So with that, I'll turn it over for any questions. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you very much, Pat, and to all 3 of you here today, a huge thank you. This is just something that we should be and we are so proud of. And it certainly wouldn't happen without the financial contributions and support of Canadian Tire and the Jumpstart program, for Rebecca's enthusiasm, and certainly for Amanda, who is in charge of the program. I would like to say on behalf of Council a huge thank you on behalf of all the kids in our community and their parents. It's just amazing. Before we get into the questions, I want to congratulate Rebecca. I understand she just moved into town, so her baby would be born here.
What side of the tracks?
Yeah.
Behind the brewery.
I would also like to thank her for the amazing Uxbridge Walk 150. How many people participated in that in total? And can you come up to the mic? You have to come to the mic.
Oh, sorry, yes, I think it was under 1,000 participants. I think just over 900. Do you remember?
927.
Yes, 927. That's exactly what it was.
Well, that's amazing.
Don't quote that, please. Thank you.
And again, congratulations to you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
I wish I had half of your energy and enthusiasm for the way that you can take these programs to the public. But I also want to say that you know, this town has seen a number of significant tragic events involving our young people, and it's so great to know that you've gone into our schools and are doing that program with the kids. I think that yoga, although I've never tried it, you'd probably have to call Ted Stone to get me up from the ground, but I think it's so important today that kids have that in their lives, and I just want to thank you for taking that extra step and trying to reach them.
Thank you. We have a fantastic instructor who connects very well with the kids, and I think that's a huge part of it as well. And Amanda's done a great job connecting with the schools, too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, Councillor Bryan.
Just a couple of quick points. I certainly wanted to thank and reiterate what the Mayor said about mental health. I think that's something that needs to be first and foremost. And just on a bit of a down note, unfortunately July 20th is also the day of the Mayor's Golf Tournament this year. So we booked it again on the same date. So we need to, same as last year. And that's, I thought we were waiting for it. And as soon as the date come up, I looked at the committee members and I said, of course it is. But certainly we'll support you any way we can on that, but we'll just be...
We might be able to change that still.
Or they could change it, whatever works, yeah. Thanks very much, though.
Okay, questions, comments?
Just want to thank you so much. It means so much to have so many kids being active and having the assistance and then the connection into the mental health part is so important for our youth. And, you know, it's going to show a difference not only in the kids but to the parents. And that will just keep going and growing, and just thank you, thank you.
Councillor Malloy?
I guess just one thing, and thank you for all the work that you do, but I also think it's really important, and I know Gary Roberts probably doesn't want to take a lot of credit, but he really deserves a real big pat in the back, because that's such a huge project. I mean, $50,000 out of the 65 is pretty substantial, and I know he goes a long way to put that golf tournament together. We really need to thank him too for all the work that he does. So I just want to acknowledge that. I know you did already, but great work, great work.
Councillor Ballinger?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a huge thank you from council and all the residents in Uxbridge. Okay, what is noodle hockey?
Well, instead of a hockey stick, which comes with many risks with tiny little kids, you just take a pool noodle, you fold it in half, and then the kids hit the ball with the noodle. And then everybody's good.
And when are you going to introduce Tai Chi?
Into the Jumpstart Games Day? Or
Yeah, Tai Chi.
Okay, when did you want to start teaching? I have
Don't bother, Rebecca, it's okay.
Councillor Ballinger, or Barton.
Thanks. I love this program. I love that, you know, during this presentation we see where the money comes from, where it goes, and then the benefits with the kids and the kids' faces. And then I see it from the other side with, you know, my daughter and all of her friends talking about yoga at school and everything else. So it's such a fantastic program. It adds so much to our town. And thank you.
I just want to end off with saying that last year I was at the arena and spent some time there because I don't golf. But it was amazing to hear the kids when it came to playing wheelchair basketball. And I can't tell you how many of the kids said to me, it's hard. It's really hard to make one of these chairs work. And you know what? What better way to teach a child and have respect for those people that are in wheelchairs than get in one themselves and try to maneuver. So I think that brought a whole new element to open up some of these young kids' eyes to the fact that, you know, those people aren't in wheelchairs because they want to be, and it's very hard. It's hard work. And you know what? That's a life experience that I think will live with them forever. And just to see them, and I mean, the young man that was there was amazing with them. And but I just thought that was so special that those kids recognized and also acknowledged the fact that, man, this is hard work. So, Councillor Hyatt.
Yeah, just To echo what's already been said, I thank you ladies for your enthusiasm and the hard work that you put in, Gary as well. But I think, Pat, you take credit for everything. You're Mr. Uxbridge.
Yeah.
You do the, well, I didn't mean take credit. I mean, you deserve credit for everything. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. He knows what I'm talking about. I mean, the Huck Finn, the toy drive, this, I mean, the list is endless, and I don't know where you get all the energy to do all this stuff. I know we chat briefly from time to time, but you're a busy guy, and you still find the time to help with kids, and I think it's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, there's 1,283 kids in our municipality that had experiences that they not likely would have had without Jump Start. So that's very significant. Thank you to all three of you and to the team that works with you.
Thank you.
Okay, their next deputant is Joanne Richter and Tanya Joy Sr. And these ladies are here to talk about Springtide 218, a downtown Uxbridge music festival on April the 21st and the 22nd.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks for having us. Hi.
Great energy in the room today. We hope to add some too. So Your Worship and members of council, we're pleased to be here today to introduce an exciting new tradition for downtown Uxbridge. We hope this presentation will ensure that you're fully apprised and on board and ready to partner with us. Our inspiration for this project was Wintersong, Stouffville's Winter Music Festival. This happened just a few weeks ago in January. We attended, quite a number of us, a group of people from Uxbridge. And what was absolutely striking about this festival was that while typically festivals bring patrons to a cordoned off area and sell them food trucks and vendors, this one brought the people right into the shops, bars, and restaurants of downtown Uxbridge. Stouffville. So Epidemic Music Group, the team that organized the longest concert by multiple artists for a Guinness World Record, worked with Stouffville's downtown coordinator to put this festival together. Tanya can tell you a little bit more about the Guinness World Record event.
Oh, yes. So I was a participant. I performed in 2 separate acts for the Guinness World Record attempt, which has now been confirmed. So it was a continuous concert for 15 days, and lots of great energy and a big team of a lot of volunteers that put this together. So they really came together, for everyone from the community, from the music community, and from Epidemic Music Group to make this happen. And to celebrate it, they developed Wintersong, which was their version of a 2-day festival with over 50 acts in multiple venues in their downtown core. I, again, as well as many musicians from Uxbridge were participants, and we also attended, and I also volunteered. So I could see from the inside and the outside as a participant and the musical act what a great impact it had on Stouffville's community and how much positive energy there was around making this show happen. Some of the venues that participated, there were 10, the Earl of Whitchurch, Tipsy Cow, the Smokery Restaurant, Main Street Bakehouse, Redefined Finds, which is a little furniture shop, a Coffee Tea Express, Candlelight Memories, Adore 2 Restaurant, outdoor stage. There was an outdoor stage where they celebrated, as you can see, the big win, and they flew the Guinness people in to give them the big thumbs up. And then they had a festival hub where they sold merchandise, tickets, and had some private intimate concerts in the back. So there was over 1,200 attendees, and they're still buzzing about it. They're very excited. So naturally, we were very inspired by that. And shortly after that, we all got together and started thinking about planning one for Uxbridge.
Okay, so the group of us who are working on this project are obviously Tanya and I. Tanya is a graphic designer and marketer running her own business here in Uxbridge, also a musician and a fan of the local music scene here. And also runs the Wednesday open mic series at Colonel McGrady, so quite involved in our local music scene. I'm one of the owners of the Second Wedge Brewing Company. I have enjoyed putting together some of the events that our brewery has participated in. For some reason, I feel like I have a lot of extra free time to do this now. And we have a fairly small group of very committed committee members who have been working with us over the last few weeks, including Jeff Holt, Tamara Williamson, Patty Uishuk. We have a number of other people who are kind of chomping at the bit to get going with us. These are all people in our music community. But we also recognize that Epidemic Music Group will be an important partner for us.
That's right. Because of their achievements with the Guinness Book World of Record and Winter Song, they have a lot of experience developing a complex festival of this kind, and a lot of success. So we are currently enthusiastic about doing something similar. We're in the process of creating a nonprofit organization called the Back 40. And our intent is, and our mandate is to present this festival annually in the downtown core.
Yeah, and it should be said that we are going to be reaching out to the community to bring in as many volunteers from the community as possible. So, why are we doing this? Well, we see a lot of benefits. Some of them we've mentioned. We really feel that this is such a perfect opportunity to drive new business to our local venues. We would like to draw visitors from Durham region, York region, and throughout the GTA, including Toronto. Like Winter Song, we feel that Springtide will generate excitement and pride in our local community, really boost the morale and get people out on the streets, and of course shine a spotlight on the incredible talent that Uxbridge is home to. We really do have a very rich and diverse music scene here.
So Springtide Music Festival is the brand for this festival, and the key dates are April 20th, which is a Friday evening, and Saturday during the day and evening. And our intent is to have it similar in multiple venues in the downtown core with over 50 bands. And we've picked these dates because we've taken a look and we see that there's no major conflicts with any other music festivals or summer festivals. As well, Huck Finn Day, the Bonner Boys Hockey Tournament, Fork in the Road 5K Run are all on different weekends, so that's excellent. And even our marketing and all of our community outreach is not conflicting with some of the marketing for the other big events in town. So I mentioned some of the venues in Stouffville. Some of our key aspects of this will be to have a marquee performance with hopefully an act that will draw people from outside of Uxbridge to this town at the Music Hall. We're talking about a youth stage with curated programming that engages the music educators in our community, so those educators that are developing the next generation of musicians in this town. And a songwriter circle, so something to inspire some of the artists that are currently developing original music, maybe hear about how people write their own music, how they write their own songs, and how they collaborate and co-write with other people. And then a possible outdoor stage to bring the community together. It would be a free stage that doesn't involve a ticket to attend, and it would be open for all ages with the right programming for that as well.
I should just say that Tanya is a wonderful graphic designer, and whoops, go back. Look at that, beautiful. This is just her rough draft.
Thanks, Joanne.
You're welcome. So our goals in putting this festival together, we really want this to be a well-organized and responsible festival. We want to enhance Uxbridge's brand as a cultural hub. We want to honor our local talent and provide guaranteed payment to our performers. That's an important piece. We want to bring in the best musicians and their fans from our neighboring communities. We would like to bring our downtown strip to life with pedestrian activity. We would like to introduce our local businesses to visitors and locals alike. A lot of places in town, chat with someone who's lived here for 10 years, like, well, I've never actually been in there. We would really like to help remedy that. And we feel it's very important to encourage the involvement of all of our local businesses and townspeople in whatever way, whether they're a venue or a sponsor or a performer or a volunteer or just there to enjoy the festival.
One more thing to add there. April 20th and 21st, it's very early in the season. It's spring. Everyone hasn't left for the cottage yet. So this is kind of a great time to kickstart the activity in the community and get people out from being at home because of the snow or the winter months. So it's nice to kind of get things started a little earlier. The summer is usually a time of a lot of activity, so this is a good way to get started.
Kick off the festival season. So we have a few testimonials here, which I will read. Apologies for reading a slide. These are some of the festival goers from Wintersong. To quote a conversation I heard from people walking by, "I'm in love with this festival. What a great way to bring people out in the community and cure the winter blues with human connection and music over the long winter months. Well-organized, fun, and amazing talent everywhere," from Raina Krangle.
It was an amazing event. We attended both nights, and each was fantastic. Oh, am I looking at the right one? Yeah, okay. The location was ideal. We went into shops and restaurants we never knew existed and intend to visit more often. The vibe you felt from musicians to volunteers to spectators was pure joy and welcoming. Great job done by all. Love seeing how our community comes together. Look forward to your next awesome event. Tracy Allison.
Okay, and of course, a huge benefit of this festival was the discovery of local businesses. So some of the testimonials specifically about the venues. Of the venues, the only one I had ever been in were the Earl and Main Street Bakehouse. Thanks to Wintersong, I have now been checked out quite a few of the venues, loved the use of the shops on the main street. Nice for them to have different exposure. Hope they see an increase in their customer base because of it. Thanks for the fun weekend, Lisa Williams. And then Ron Daniels said, "It was my first time in Redefined Finds. I can't wait to finish off the renos in my basement so I can go back and buy some quality items."
So we've already started reaching out to the downtown business owners. On Saturday morning, we sent some basic information by email to the BIA and all the businesses on Brock Street and the downtown side streets to include them as well. And we've already got some expressions of interest from to participate as a venue from Laura's Casual Kitchen, Keith's Flowers, Blue Heron Books, Woods and Woods, Nexus Coffee, and Rutledge Jewelers. We'll be talking to the business owners in person this week, and by Friday, everyone who is interested will have a venue package to take a look at and consider.
Okay, so budget. I've listed some of the key expenses on the left and our revenue on the right. So main issues for us are going to be sound equipment rental, stage rental if we do an outside stage, the music hall rental for our marquee show, consulting fees for Epidemic Music Group, working closely with them, the fees for our musicians, of course, the cost to bring in the T-shirts and the merchandise and have them printed, having our festival programs and signage. We've already got that underway. And security, we plan to have 2 or 3 security guards to walk up and down the street and just be on call in case of any issues. So Wintersong, sorry about the muffling. Wintersong made all of its revenue on wristband and T-shirt sales. They sold about 500 shirts and more than 1,000 wristbands. But many of those were, on top of that, they gave away several, many free to performers and volunteers. Our plan is to seek sponsorships at a number of different levels. And yes, the Second Wedge is looking forward to being a sponsor. We're actually finalizing our budget details tomorrow, and we'll then be reaching out to potential sponsors with details on the different levels of support. And after this initial festival, we will be seeking out government grants, whatever might be available, to support an annual festival.
So we're really hoping that the Uxbridge Township will be interested in partnering with us for this festival. We're open to any ways in which the township sees they can support us, but two of those options may be festival funding support or waiving the fees for the music hall to bring in our marquee performer for the Friday evening.
And that's our presentation. Thank you very much for listening, and we'd love a chance to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, ladies. It sounds like a great event, and you nailed you hit the nail on the head when you said Uxbridge is full of talent, and I can't think of a better place to start something like this, and certainly, working with our BIA is great. So, congratulations, and we will certainly support whatever we can. Okay, Councillor Bryan, Councillor Ballinger, Councillor Hyatt.
Thank you both. I'm sure we'll be talking about this tomorrow with the BIA, without a doubt, which is great. Just a couple quick questions, because I'm not that familiar with Winter Song. The 500 shirts and the 1,000 wristbands, what were they selling those for?
Sorry, it was 20, right?
So for the T-shirts, the T-shirt sales for Winter Song were actually $25, and they were still selling Guinness World Record T-shirts for $20 at the same time. The wristbands, there was a combination of prices. So for one day, it was for Friday or Saturday individually, it was $10.
Mm-hmm.
For a weekend wristband, they were selling that for $20. And if you just wanted to walk into one venue and watch one act, it's $5 at the door.
Okay. That's great. And I guess I understand how it would work in a bar and a restaurant. Mm-hmm. What would I do at Woods and Woods? What would I expect to see if I went in there?
Mm-hmm. So I can talk about, I actually played in the little furniture shop called Redefine Finds in Stouffville. Okay. And so they just sectioned off a corner of the shop.
Oh,
the
nice.
doors were open. We had a nice little acoustic performance. A lot of the crowd kind of gathered within the store. They were actually having a workshop going on in the background, doing some, I can't even remember exactly what it was about, some craft. And people came and went, and it was just great. A lot of people stayed for the whole set. So there's a lot of unique things that you can do, and people are just open to it. So something like that, there was no fee to attend any of the shops. So people were just strolling up and down and coming into those. That's a great opportunity. Yeah.
I think this is a fantastic idea, and
Thank
it's
you.
great that you've checked and made sure nothing else is going on. So I assume the music hall is empty as well.
I did look at the schedule. We did look at the schedule at the music hall, and there is nothing there. There's a play or a show
Right.
that ends the weekend before.
And you can't tip your hat who the marquee person. Well, you don't get what you don't ask for, right? But I think this is wonderful, so I think we should do all we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who was next? Council? Did you have a question?
Yes, Councillor Bryan asked the one about the music hall. The music hall is always busy, so have you talked with Karen, the booking at the arena?
No, we haven't.
I would suggest you do that
Yes.
very quickly.
Yes.
And when you see and you bring this in, it reminds me years and years ago of Springwater days. We had that for years here, and it was a busy time. So good for you, and any way that we can help, we'll be glad to.
Thank you.
I was just told that Experience is on that weekend.
Not on, but that's when they move into the music hall, is that weekend.
Just start prepping?
Yeah, like the stage work gets all set up and everything.
Well, they might have to wait till Sunday.
Well, I don't know how that's gonna work, but anyways, they have it already booked, so you'd have to see what is already.
Thank you.
Well, it wasn't booked they checked and it wasn't booked.
Yeah, the calendar.
Okay, so, you know what? I would advise you, when you leave here, you go to the arena and check with Karen.
Karen's away.
Oh, Karen's away, well, who can do it?
Carolyn can probably
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay? Just so we don't get too far down the road
yeah.
and have no venue.
Yeah.
Okay, Counselor Hyatt?
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Looks awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Is it the 20th, the 21st, or, because we have the 21st, 22nd written down here on
It's the 20th and the 21st. The 20th is the Friday.
So is it all day Friday or just the evening?
It's in the evening, so starting at around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We may have a venue that starts a little bit earlier, and then the rest, there'll be less venues on the Friday and more on the Saturday.
So is
But
it like a 5 till?
5 till close
Close.
on Friday, and approximately 2 o'clock until close on Saturday. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe 1 p.m.
Okay. And your marquee event would be on the Saturday?
It's actually on the Friday
on
evening.
Friday. Okay.
Yes. So it would launch the event.
Yeah, okay. As Joanne can attest to, everything shuts down in Uxbridge at 4, maybe earlier on a Friday, so you might want to get that message out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That if you're going to have a bunch of people open, then they need to know about that.
Oh, yes,
obviously,
yes,
right?
exactly. Well, at this point, so everybody's received an email. Everyone on that Brock Street strip, plus the side streets, has received an email, and now we're going to print it out and walk around and make sure that everybody knows. So
Right.
even if they're not interested in being a venue or a sponsor, they should have a heads up that there's something exciting coming.
Like the restaurants, bars,
Yep.
they will be open. It's if you're trying to include anybody else, it could be a challenge.
Very true.
Anyway, I think it's a great event. If you can check that time and get it nailed down, that would be advantageous for you guys, I'm sure. But I think it's awesome.
Well, the marquee event, if I could, is on the Friday night, so I don't think that
So it's not going to be an issue.
it's not gonna be an issue with Experience then.
Okay. Anyway, I'll let everyone else,
Yeah.
if we need to make a motion, I will do so.
Okay.
Counselor Malloy, do you have anything? Counselor Barton?
Yeah, just want to say, love it. It's a perfect fit for our town. The musicians that have sort of come out of the woodwork, you just go to any restaurant in the last couple of years and it just seems that there's live music playing all the time. This is a perfect way to highlight it. So, thanks. Any way I can help, I will.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. There's no further questions. I would suggest, as I said, make sure you've got the date, for the music hall. And, I think that what we have to do is suggest that council, waive the fees for the music hall for this event and, let the, music hall board know. Okay, somebody want to make that? Counselor Barton, seconded by Counselor, Bryan, that there be no charge for the, music hall on April the 20th. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Anything else we need? Okay, are you asking for any of the area in the downtown core to be closed? Because I'm going to suggest that if it is, we need to work with the region immediately. And I would suggest that probably, we need to get dialogue sooner than possible, or sooner than later, so you know, or are you just going to use the sidewalks?
Well, I mean, it worked out quite fine in Stouffville for people up and down the sidewalk. I think that kind of helps encourage people to be going in and out the doors of the businesses too. They did have the Latcham Gallery front lawn, or front, whatever call it.
It's a parking lot, actually.
A parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's where they had set up their outdoor stage. The outdoor stage for us is, it's a bit up in the air until we get all of our budget details together and see what our levels of sponsorship are. We had said at my business, we would be happy to host an outdoor stage on the property, but that doesn't necessarily have to happen this year. We also have places like Wixon's we could talk to about. They have their parking lot, which could potentially be a space like that too. So I don't think at this point we'd be looking at closing any roads.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. All right, well, thank you very much for coming in. It sounds like a great event and something that we certainly would like to support, because there's so much talent here, and it gives them an opportunity to get out there and show people what they've got. And there's a lot of young bands coming up, which are pretty amazing. So we'll do whatever we can to help you, but please get this event booked.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, Pat, would you like to see something like this down in your area? That's something too that you might want to look at, is that, you know, we have a large business area to the south of us as well. And I understand this is the beginning, so you might want to start off smaller, but I'm going to suggest that you look at taking in that part of the town, you know, once you get established. You know, it's a pretty big thing to start it here and there at the same time. So
I think the straight bar downtown for sure.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity over time to grow for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great start for downtown. We'll keep traffic all the time, so.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Can you have a 5-minute recess? Yes, considering your age, I'll allow it. Okay, I'm going to reconvene council. Couple announcements I want to make is, first of all, the music hall is booked for a dance recital on the Friday. So they are now looking at having the marquee event on Thursday, and then be able to do the downtown on Friday and Saturday, which they said is probably better for them, because they don't have to go from day to night. They'll have their night performance and then do Friday and Saturday. So that will probably work out. The Brock Street Culvert PIC is on the 28th at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. So everybody can mark that down. And also, we need to go into camera to deal with a property matter following council. Okay. At 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. Okay, correspondence, Madam Clerk.
Correspondence item number 10, Vicky Gilmore, VON Canada, request for support of the 8th Annual Beach Ball Gala, Saturday, March 3rd.
Received for information. Oh, sorry, we didn't do the minutes. Let's go back and do the minutes of council on January the 29th. Councillor Beach and Councillor Malloy, all those in favor? Carried. Correspondence from VON. I know our money is going down, but could we possibly do maybe a $200 donation?
We could,
recommend
if you don't
that
mind,
to the...
I'd like to refer it to the committee, Mayor
Thank
O'Connor.
you. Okay, so we refer this to the committee by Councillor Malloy and Councillor Bryan. All those in favor? Carried.
Correspondence item 11, Bruce Matthews, Goodwood Lions Club and Community Association re 2018 Goodwood Lions Skating Party.
Yeah. Received for information, seconded by Councillor Beach. All those in favor? Carried.
Correspondence item number 12, Jennifer Morrison and Fabio Ochuzzi, concerns respecting the processing of planning applications.
For information, Mayor O'Connor.
Thank you. All those, oh, sorry, I need a seconder, Dave Martin. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, resolutions, we have some. It's been moved by and seconded, that whereas the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Uxbridge deems it desirable to declare surplus and convey real property legally described as part of Lot 17, Concession 3, in the hamlet of Goodwood in the Township of Uxbridge, Regional Municipality of Durham. Is it on the addenda?
Yeah, it's next.
No, well, okay, 'cause the, resolution's up ahead of the...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, sorry, I've got it half read, but we do have a report on page 21 of our agenda. Councillor Malloy.
Mayor O'Connor, I'll move the recommendation on CL 1218.
Okay, thank you. And do we have seconder? Councillor Hyatt. Question on report?
Excuse me, through you to, I guess to Ingrid or Debbie. On the GO Transit crash wall, where does that stand, or when would we know what's involved with that?
I don't know if Metrolinx is looking at a crash wall in the future, but related to this particular topic, they're not asking that there be anything. They said due to the circumstances of the ongoing use of the hall and its age that they wouldn't.
Well, it just says the
insist
possibility of there being a further requirement for the construction of a crash wall. If we sell this property and they decide they want a crash wall, where does that leave us?
Well, based on what they have come back to us, there's no requirement right now.
Right now, but if they
Correct.
decide to bring rail to Uxbridge, are we on the hook for building a crash wall?
Well,
That's
we
the question.
basically, based on the rezoning, they're saying there's no requirement to add residential. There would be no requirement for a crash wall at this point in time, so.
So we actually have a letter from GO Transit, and basically what the letter speaks to is not increasing the footprint of the hall. If the footprint of the hall increases, it brings it closer to the line, then potentially GO is saying that they may have a difference of opinion. We've always approached it that we would be looking at rezoning it and not changing the hall at all, not adding an addition to it or anything. So if somebody wanted to put an addition on it in the future, that would probably trigger GO getting involved and GO then coming forward and saying it's triggering a crash wall. So it would be sold as it is.
Here on the
Yeah, it says here, they advised that they had no issue with the rezoning of these lands as long as no significant modifications are made to the building that would bring the habitable space closer to the rail corridor than is already established under the existing conditions. Okay, so you have the report, and we have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Carried. Now I will read the resolution. Moved by Councillor Beach, seconded by Councillor Hyatt, whereas the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Uxbridge deems surplus and convey real property legally described as part of Lot 17, Concession 3, in the hamlet of Goodwood in the Township of Uxbridge, Regional Municipality of Durham. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Uxbridge hereby declares the following. 1. That the property legally described as part of Lot 17, Concession 7, in the hamlet of Goodwood in the Township of Uxbridge is surplus to the needs of the municipality. 2, and that public notice be placed in the local newspaper once a week for 2 consecutive weeks advising that the lands are being declared surplus and of the township's intention to convey these lands. Township File L06 PS 80. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we have another report to council, and that's report CL 1318 of Debbie LaRue regarding the matrix for the new animal shelter. Councillor Malloy.
Thank you, Mayor O'Connor. we went through a few of these with a few things that we've purchased, the fire hall being one of them. I don't like these point systems, but I would like to make a couple recommendations, because I do have a couple of questions on these. When you get down to section 4 under the evaluation criteria, I'm not exactly sure. There's sort of two things that happen here. One of them is item 2 notes collaborative project delivery and evidence of completed projects. And item 4 says project delivery and collaboration. So that really, item 2 should really be 40 points in my opinion, because I don't see the difference between item 2 and item 4. They're essentially the same thing. And I guess the other part of it is the section stage 5, where they deal with incentive compensation. I really don't think that, to me that's just this number that's hanging out there that's meaningless as far as I'm concerned. That's when you're talking about sort of saving some compensation from, as I understand it, from the contingency money you're putting ahead. Is that what that means, Debbie? I believe that's what it means. So to me, in that section where it says incentive compensation, I really think it's meaningless, and I think it just comes down to pricing and compensation at that. That companies put aside sort of this contingency fund, and as long as they don't use it, they get it all back. And I think that's what it's referring to, Debbie, is it? I'm not sure. And I really don't think that's a magical number that anybody can pick and throw out there. It's really meaningless, and it really has no impact on the project whatsoever, in my opinion. So those are two things that I would like to see changed on it. One of them being item 2 should be 40 points, and under the stage 5, item 1, it should only be pricing and compensation direct costs for 100%. That would be my suggestion.
Sorry, so can you just repeat the last one?
Under stage 4,
yeah.
Item 2.
No, I understand that one. What, under stage 5, you want...
Yeah, direct cost should be 100. The incentive compensation, I don't think that, I have to tell you why. Sorry, my microphone wasn't on. I don't see section 5 as being relevant. I think that I really struggle with this one part of the IPD model, is that they built a fire station 16,000 square feet, and they actually built, which is the same size as our fire station, built roughly around the same time. Their lot was already serviced, and they were about $2 million more than our building. I just think that to go to some way you're supposed to do it, here's this magic number that you get back. I mean, to me, it's give us the price. That's the price you got to pay, and that's where we're staying. I just don't buy that contingency money. I don't think it should even be in the equation.
Staff?
Through your worship, okay, so just with respect to the scoring then, did you want it just dropped to 50 and the score would be out of 50 versus 100?
Sorry, that's fine. I'm just trying to get away from the
No, I understand.
the contingency piece.
Okay, so I'll just see what the engineer proposes then.
Councillor Barton?
Yeah, could we get the clerk to speak on why that was in there, just so we better understand your reason to have it in there originally, just before we change this?
The reason being just so that it would force them to break it out, and that we would look at, I mean, if it's really high or versus something that's lower. We just wanted to see it and be able to attach a score to it. I mean, it's there regardless, so whether we attach a score or not, I guess it really doesn't matter. It's just, we thought that would be relevant, so. And the engineer had suggested it, but I understand, and I think Ben was supportive of taking, he just said it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So.
Thanks.
Councillor, are you okay? Councillor Hyatt?
Yeah, through you to Debbie. Can I ask, did this scoring matrix come from another IPD project? How did you arrive at these things? Or where did it come from, I guess?
It was put together through our engineer.
Did they get it from another one of these types
I
of
would
projects?
suspect that they probably looked at others,
okay.
other
I'm just wondering
samples.
how they broke it down. I mean, to me it seems very arbitrary, but maybe there's a rationale why they did so. Engineers say.
Councillor Malloy?
One more question. So Debbie, once we've gone through this, will we be opening on the stage in the second stage where we're opening this the envelopes? Will we be opening all of the envelopes?
No, we wouldn't be opening all. We'd just be looking at the ones that we've selected to go on to the next stage. Those would be the pricing ones that had met the scoring.
Okay, so what number would we use? I know we changed that number, Ben, in the last project we did where I think we opened 5 of the top 4 or top 5, I can't remember what the number was, but we picked a number of submissions that we would open and look at the pricing of. And we picked 4. Am I right, 4, Ben, do you recall? It was 4 we chose. And I just wondered if there is a number here. Do you have a number? How many we're going to do? I would suggest we do have a number like a 4. And I guess it comes down to this, if you don't mind me taking time, but we've seen in these projects where they've come by and anybody can have a great brochure and they can talk the talk all they want. The reality is that price is a big factor, and we have to take all of that into consideration. We've obviously done projects where we've read the information and they're a fantastic designer or architect and they can do this and they did that and they did this, but the reality is price is a factor too. Price is a consideration, and we should determine how many of those we're actually going to look at. That's all I'm suggesting. And I'd suggest 4 would be a good number as well for this project.
I guess that's fine. We can set a cap on it. That's fine. I guess just back to stage 5, the incentive compensation. I'm just, if you wouldn't mind, if we could refer this back to the engineer. I'm just a little bit leery in just striking that incentive compensation, because I think it's important that we do know what that is going to be, because certainly at the end of the day it's going to reflect what the overall pricing will be.
I'm fine with that, Debbie.
Add a little to that as well. The incentive compensation was designed, we wanted to get from those people bidding what percentage of the budget they were hoping to keep for themselves. That's what it really is. It's not about contingency money. It's so I'm going in and I'm saying I'll build you X for your budget, and of that I'm taking 10% of that budget for my costs. That's what that number's there. Some may say they'll do it for 8. There seems to be a range between 8 and 12% is what we're hearing, and that's what that number is really there for, is to identify what that percentage is, because they're going, each one of them has their own number that they want out of this project. And so if it's going to be competitive, that may be one more thing you might want to look at as part of that competition. The other thing is, when we talk about the number of bidders, I think we set a threshold of over 60% as a score, and then what we said was, in case there was only 1 or 2, what we said is that we would say that we want 4 bidders. Our preferences are over 60%. However, we will look at scores that are below 60%, provided they meet a minimum threshold of 50%, so that you don't end up bringing in to the mix. Let's say you only end up with 3 bidders. You don't want to bring the 20% into the discussion. So that's what we talked about, is just saying that there'll be a minimum threshold as well. If somebody's below the minimum, then they wouldn't be considered. We want them to at least be somewhat competitive, instead of having a bidder that achieves 70% being looked at the same as a bidder who got 30%.
Councillor Malloy?
Sorry, Mayor Connor, thank you. I get to, in addition to Councillor Hyde's comments, some of this really is very arbitrary. And I think that you need to make sure you have a number of people in. If somebody's coming in and only hit 20%, I'd still like to see it. I don't want to limit it to an arbitrary scoring system. And it's not all arbitrary, but a lot of it is. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's essentially information that's being provided to us by the person submitting the proposal. So that can clearly be skewed in their favor. So anyway, I just think there should be a number. Even if it is a 20%er, I think it's a number we should still look at in the package. Not suggesting we would go with it, but I just don't want to be stuck with 2 or 3. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say one more thing. When we do look at these, the way we will look at them is they'll all be scored separately. They'll be scored by probably 4 different people, no different than the culvert project it was done. And then what happens is the scores are then brought collectively to the table, because everybody is going to look at it differently. So that's going to be the process. 4 or 5 independent scores then come together and convene to discuss what scores they have, and then to reach consensus on where people will sit.
Okay, Councillor Barton?
Yeah, just a question through you to Deb or Ingrid, whoever wants to pick up the question. So with this scoring system, if we've done business with this contractor in the past and had a bad experience, where does it end up on this matrix?
Well, I
Staff,
shouldn't say
hold-
out, but...
Just a minute, staff
Okay,
were
all
asked
right.
to answer that.
I don't know that it would speak to past experience. I mean, you would have to look at the circumstances of the situation as well. I mean, there could have been a number of factors that influenced why something went off the rails, or, I mean, should we disqualify them because there was a situation? I don't know. There's no provision in here really for that.
There is.
To take them, I mean, you can get into experience in IPD, planning and execution, past, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
If that's something I guess we could look at if it goes into the way our bylaw is currently structured right now for procurement, the new one is gonna have a provision in it. If we're into legal issues with a contractor, then we can't do business with them. I don't know, I'd have to ask Donna or if there's anything else right now, or Ben.
Okay, let's bring Ben up, please. Pat?
Yeah, I guess my comment is that I think it is covered well in here because it comes up with demonstration of experience and qualifications and also including evidence of completed projects. That would be if the engineer agrees, that would be worth 40 points of that. That would certainly eliminate them, I would think.
Okay.
And there's a number of places where it would come into effect. Proposed personnel, if they're proposing the same people that they did when we had a bad experience with them. Management, same thing. Planning and execution, if we had a job and they were all over the map doing 18 different things at the same time, would fall into there. Stage 4.2, evidence of completed projects, project delivery and collaboration. If we had trouble with them before, there was probably very little collaboration. So there's a number of things, number of sections in there that would cover that.
Okay, thanks. That's very, what's that?
Pardon me?
You had a suggestion for number 5, right?
Well, number 5, we just have to come up with...
Your mic's not on.
Number 5, we just have to come up, and I got one from, I have one from the Covert, but the pricing, there'll be a mathematical formula where you assess points.
Councillor Hyatt.
Just through you to Ben, are we at liberty to check their past projects? Like, are we relying solely on what they tell us they did? Like, can we contact their previous employer and say, did it go well? Were they on budget? Those kinds of questions, or are we at liberty to do that?
Yeah, we can always do that.
Because I think this goes to Councillor Malloy's point. I mean, they come across smelling like roses, but in fact, they screwed somebody on the last project, so that may not come out in their...
It asks for, the tender asks for references.
Under the evaluation
So we can
criteria,
we can check those before we score them. Is that, we can do that?
under the evaluation criteria, number .6, concept of the building and budget adherence.
Okay. So you would check all that prior to scoring them? Okay.
Councillor Malloy, did you have a question? Okay. Councillor Barton?
Yeah, just from that, they give us references. Can we also seek out projects that they've done and seek our own references as part of this? Because if things went really poorly on one project, they would not list that as one of their references. So, you know, I'd like to get the good, the bad, and the ugly from whichever contractor it is. Can we seek that out, or do we?
We can check with our legal department to see if that's possible.
So, maybe ask for the last 5 projects that they did and who the contact people were, or something like that?
We'll check.
Okay, thank you.
Who's evaluating these?
What we have lined up so far is there will be staff that will be reviewing them. I'm also going to have, obviously our engineer will be participating, and George Brown has also offered to collaborate with that review.
Okay. But there will be staff involved, one staff person? Okay, thank you. Any further questions? No? So do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Malloy, seconded by Councillor Ballinger. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, committee minutes, report number 3 of planning and number 4 of general purpose. Pardon me?
If I separated 3 from 4?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, report number 3 of planning and economic development. Seconded by Councillor Bryan. All those in favor? Carried. Report number 4 of General Purpose and Administration Committee. Moved by Councillor Barton, seconded
Can
by...
I make a comment, please, Mayor O'Connor?
Yep, seconded by Councillor Bryan. Councillor Malloy.
I just want to make it clear that this is actually our budget that's being approved here now in this motion, so I want to make it clear that everybody understands that's what this is. And once again, I would just like to thank Don and staff for all the work that they've done, and they did a great job. And thank you, Council, for working diligently on it for so long and getting it done. So, thank you, everyone.
Well, I think that what we said last week, Councillor, was that we certainly appreciate the work that you, as the head of the finance department, meaning council's rep on the finance department regarding the budget, along with Donna and all staff. I think we were able to come in with a very, very good budget. Nobody likes to see increases, but when you consider what we've been downloaded and trying to keep up with our infrastructure, I think that it was a very good budget.
I agree.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Carried. Committee minutes. Oh, sorry, we just did that. We have bylaws. Moved by Pam, seconded by Gord Hyatt, that leave be granted to introduce bylaws number 218-2020 to 218-026, and the same be read a first and second time. Any questions? Oh, all those in favor? Sorry. Third reading, move 218 to 220, 218 to 2026 be now read a third time, finally passed, and the mayor and the clerk duly sign and seal the same. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, any unfinished business? Any other business? Okay, confirming bylaw, moved by Pam Beach, seconded by Gord Hyatt. Oh, yes, we are. Sorry. Okay, so, press. Questions? Moya? You're okay? And you're okay. Well, that's great. We got 2 okay presses. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, have a great day. Thanks for coming. And I need a motion, please, to go into camera. Moved by Pam Beach, seconded by Pat Malloy. All those in favor? Carried.